Hi, everybody, and welcome to our contest this weekend. Thank you for joining us. I know things are a little crazy, and doing things virtually has been the norm this year. But certainly glad that you're all here and have chosen to participate. So first, I want to talk about a few things here to set the stage. Got a couple of PowerPoints. I'm going to do that to you anyway, whether you like it or not. So let's take a look at a couple of things that we're doing here at IBM around tech for good, because I think that this year is something we need to do more than anything else. So first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Greg Gorman. I am the director of our operations and infrastructure in our developer ecosystem group, which means we get to talk to developers all day long. And my team in particular is the digital team. So we own the websites. You'll see I've got some stuff underneath my name there. Developer.ibm.com is our main center, along with opensource.ibm.com and our Call for Code program. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of that here in just a minute. Next thing I want to talk about then is 2020. We're all here. It's a horrible year. I'm sorry. I'm done with it. I can't wait. This has been the worst 5 years of my life, it seems like. We've had hurricanes. We've had more hurricanes than ever. Obviously, we have this weird pandemic going on. One of my colleagues is in the UK. They just got locked down today again. So they're shut back in their house. And then just last week was a big earthquake out in Greece, I think it was. But over there in Europe, that just was another big horrible thing. So it's just been, and then we've got the election. And today we happen to be recording this on election day. So just a bonkers year. And we're sort of, I have to say, we are about as fed up with it as you can be. And what that means then is it's really a call to action for all of us as technologists and developers. And that's what I want to talk about. What can we do? 2020 is a horrible year. 2021, who knows if it's going to be better or not? So we need to do something. So let's do this by using our skills and our talents, and let's take charge of our lives and take charge of the planet. I think most of you have heard of Call for Code before. It's a great program that we run here at IBM and at IBM Developer. We just announced our winners this year. We're going to talk about that on the next slide. But what I want to mainly point out is we want to use tech for good. So I know that's a big push for this weekend. So start getting your ideas together, start understanding what we can do, and then consider joining Call for Code next year when we kick it off right after the holidays. And come join us and do and join the competition. I think it'll be a lot of fun. We bring in 400,000 participants from around the world, over 179 nations this year. It was just an absolutely bonkers challenge. We saw some really fun stuff, and some interesting things happened this year as well. Obviously, we started out the year with a certain challenge, and we'll talk about that here. This year's challenge was around climate change and what could we do to assist people. And then obviously then in March when the pandemic hit, we did a quick additional challenge to have people help get technology to solve and make it easier for people during the pandemic. You know, were there things that we could do there? So we even had some special early prizes there. It was a lot of fun. This year's winner was fantastic. It's a team of recent graduates out of New York called HackRPI. They came up with a way to help small farmers. And this is something normally in the United States, at least, we don't think about. So this is what makes this global international program so cool, is that now we're getting highlights and ideas and stuff from all over the planet. And these guys came up with some really neat things to help these small farmers do a better job of optimizing their crop, optimizing their land, when to water, when not to water. And it all works on little mobile phones with some super cheap sensors they can put in their field. I'm really excited about that. The neat thing too about IBM and the Call for Code and the things that we're doing here is we put our money where our mouth is. So when you're in the Call for Code competition, it's more than just a hackathon. Yeah, you win some money, but in more than that, we actually go out and help you put it in deployment. So think about that next year as you all do some things here this weekend, and you might have a really neat idea. Bring it with you next year. Join the competition. You never know. You might have the winning idea. You'll win a big pocket of money. You'll get IBM behind you to help create a company to get a deployment going. We're in Mongolia with these guys right now. It's really going to be fun. Last year's winner, Prometeo, was from Spain. Their idea was to create a device that straps to a firefighter's arm while they're out working on wildland fires. And obviously here in the United States and in California has been a terrible year for wildfires. So all of those men and women that are out there on the front lines, breathing all that smoke, being in bad situations all over the place, there's certain health impacts with them. And you need to know when to rotate them out so that their bodies can recover from all of the smoke and the noxious fumes that they were around. So Prometeo has a device now, and they use predictive analytics to help manage the health of all the firefighters on the front lines. Pretty exciting solution there. They've been working and deploying in Barcelona, Spain. They've been down in Australia with those fires, collecting data, looking at the physiology, and some really fascinating work that goes on there. And then our first year winner, Project OWL, was also a group of graduates, one of which now works for us at IBM. But they came up with an idea after Hurricane Maria went in and ravaged Puerto Rico. And they had an idea to build a mesh network with these small little devices that look about like this, that you can deploy quickly in a devastated area and bring up a network so that people have first responders as well as victims have a quick Wi-Fi network they can connect into and ask for help or need supplies or just to be able to say, I'm here, kind of thing. So some really exciting technology has come out of this. Not only did we implement the winners, or we are implementing the winners, but in many cases we pick other promising solutions that we think are really, really exciting to be able to bring out to the world. So we love your ideas. Get creative this weekend, save those ideas, and then come back and compete in this Call for Code competition next year. There is a university track for university students as well as a track where it's wide open with all the professional developers around the world. So many of you might be able to compete on both tracks, and that's pretty exciting. I also have my friend Elisa here to continue the discussion. And so I'm going to toss it over her for a minute, and then we're going to come right back.
Thank you so much, Greg, and it's a pleasure to be here with you all today. My name is Elisa Trometter, and I am the Deputy Director of External Affairs for the Clinton Global Initiative University, which is an initiative of the Clinton Foundation. And today I'd just love to go over a bit of program information in regards to CGIU. So what is CGIU? We are a higher education program housed under the Clinton Foundation, and we support undergrad and graduate student entrepreneurs across the world. And students come to us wanting to take action. They've identified a problem and they wish to tackle a particular challenge. We have a very robust alumni community. We've been around for 13 years with over 10,000 alums, 7,000 commitments, and 150 countries represented in our community. So I'm going to talk just a little bit about the CGIU experience and why perhaps CGIU might be of interest to you as a current college student. So really students that apply and then are accepted to CGIU, they receive access to a virtual social impact curriculum that's entirely online, which is perfect in our current virtual reality setup. Every CGIU student that's accepted to our program is also assigned with a mentor who is a CGIU alum who's gone through the program in years prior. We also develop a number of different seed funding opportunities where students compete for early stage seed funding, grants as well. These are both housed within CGIU and then also with our higher education partners, different universities around the world. We also have invitations to events. This includes the 13th annual CGIU virtual meeting, and we connect with Clinton Foundation topic experts. We connect students with Clinton Foundation topic experts, and this includes Bill Clinton and Chelsea Clinton, of course, as well. So why should students apply to CGIU? Why, if you're listening to me today, should you hop on cgiu.org and check out our application? Really, these are the main qualities that we look for in students that wish to apply to our program. You really need to be passionate about making a difference, and my best bet would be that this certainly fits you because you're here today for HackRPI. you're really motivated to taking action. So it might be a problem that you've recently identified, something that you've worked on for a number of years, or maybe you're just getting started. But you've identified an issue area and you actually want to take action to tackle that pressing challenge, that pressing problem. And really, it's all about students who want to learn how best to turn this idea that they have into something real, tangible, and concrete. Networking, as I mentioned on the last slide, is a fundamental part of the CGIU experience. And yes, we are launching an entirely virtual program at the kickoff for our 2021 student cohort. So there's lots of virtual networking opportunities. Students around the world connect with each other through breakout discussions, different community calls, and of course, special events organized from the Clinton Foundation for our accepted students and program alum. And all of this, of course, we bring topic experts to the table to have wonderful, encouraging dialogue to better inform our students. So how does someone apply to CGIU? Our application actually opened just a few weeks ago, so you still have plenty of time to apply to the program. The deadline is January 15th. All students essentially apply to our program with a commitment to action. So this is a new, specific, and measurable initiative that addresses a pressing challenge. And usually a commitment to action falls under one of these 5 focus areas listed on your screen. Of course, a lot of students identify that their commitment to action, which is essentially a social impact project, fits perhaps within 1 or 2 of these categories, maybe even 3. And it's totally okay if your project overlaps with many of the focus areas mentioned here, but we ask that student applicants just pick the best one and really the one that most encompasses their project when they apply. But lots of different broad focus areas are represented. Students really, in crafting out their commitment to action, should think through their project design. And really, we ask students in the application to go one step further. Of course, they provide a project summary, but they also need to break out the way that their project is new, specific, and measurable. And we really try to get to the students seeing more depth within the commitment to action by exploring each of these 3 areas in more detail. And we break each of these segments out within our online application. So hopefully a bit of information up here on your slide is helpful as you think through crafting your CGIU application. I have a little stick figure graph of the typical CGIU student journey in recap. So essentially we have a student who has identified a problem, and this could be a social or environmental problem that they wish to solve. They then apply to CGIU, which again, our deadline is January 15th. It's an online application. Once the student is accepted, that's when they are admitted into the CGIU student cohort. This past cohort, we had hundreds of students representing over 100 countries, 450 institutions. So I will especially note that during this time when you might be feeling a little bit globally disconnected, this is certainly a program that aims to connect students from all different walks of life under this shared CGIU experience. You'll be paired with a mentor, receive access to that virtual curriculum, engage with other students, alums, and staff at our virtual events, and of course have access to resources to help develop your commitment to action. And then once a student goes through the CGIU student experience, it's a full year running from February to really December of that next year. You graduate essentially, and you're a part of this network of alumni support. And of course, you can also apply to serve as a mentor for future CGIU students. And it really is a full, robust, exciting journey that we take our students on. Just a reminder, I know I've mentioned it a few times, but our application deadline is January 15th. And if you want access to our application or even just more information on CGIU, you can visit cgiu.org, which is mentioned here on your screen. And if you have any other questions, I'm more than happy to connect with HackRPI participants directly. And I've listed my email address here. And again, you have plenty of time to submit your application. We really can't wait to read all of the stellar applications that come through. And I really hope that this info session, albeit very brief, excites you and really gets you ready to apply. So reach out to me if you have any questions, but really most immediately have the best time with the HackRPI session and all of the events planned for you and your peers throughout the weekend. Thank you all.
All right. Thanks, Alyssa. That was great. You know, the CGIU has been a great partner of ours here at IBM. We've had President Clinton be one of our judges, our eminent judges for the final competition. And Chelsea has come on several times to announce winners of our university challenge as well. So that's really exciting. Glad you're here. I wish you guys were around when I was in school because it would have been really helpful. Okay, so let's talk about HackRPI. IBM's been a sponsor here for 3 years as well. So let's talk about some money here, guys, all right? So the first thing is this. There's 2 topic areas that we're offering prizes in, $500 a piece for the winner. The first one is around public health and the pandemic response. So take a look at what can you do around public health? I mean, we're all in the middle of all of this stuff. We're all firsthand experts on this and certainly subject matter experts around the pandemic. So come on, smart guys and girls, get your ideas out there. Let's see what you've got in that space. And then the second one is around climate change and environmental sustainability. We all have to live on this planet. You all have some great ideas. Let's see what you've got and show us some really great ideas. Remember, to win the money and to be eligible for it, you have to use at least one IBM service or one of our APIs in your project. I've been a judge before on some of these things, and we see some of these really cool ideas and some really great work. And as I start looking at the code and starting to examine the project, I'm like, oh, they didn't use any IBM stuff. You're out. You know, it's kind of thing like that. So please be sure somewhere in there you use one of our services. That way you can be eligible for the prize. It's really exciting. Really looking forward to it. Good luck, everybody, and let's get going.